putting an end to identity politics. This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
I have said that with stiff competition by some of the other things they have put forth, is the worst bill in the history of the United States Congress. Now, how can I make that claim? Well, because it involves more money, hurts more people, increases the deficit by so much more, and just because everything is bigger in our country, the consequences of this bill, a multi-trillion-dollar economy being addressed by a bill that had no hearings, no expert testimony, just with the speed of light, as Jamie Raskin says, the speed of light in the dark of night, here we are.
Welcome back, everybody. That was Nancy Pelosi, and it was Armageddon. If yet again something else happens with Donald Trump, well, the world is going to come to an end. Aren't we used to this? It's over. Yeah, the president's tax reform bill looks like it's going to pass, and now Nancy Pelosi says, it'll hurt the poor. And what's funny is it doesn't matter how great things are with Donald Trump, the left are going to lament it. Okay, for the sake of discussion, let's say that the tax bill hurts a few of the middle class. Trump could easily argue, well, they'll make it up in their 401ks. Look at the stock market. Oh, but it can't go there. I tell you what about the price of goods and services that are dropping? What about the raises that they're getting because they've gotten better jobs? What about those that have come off unemployment, the 1.6 million people that are no longer drawing off the public dole and can now go back to work? And on and on. He could easily talk around it. Now, as a person who potentially could get hurt in this, because I live in a state where they charge a state income tax, I will tell you, I'm willing to forego it. I'm willing to take the bullet. I am. Because you know what? The states need to stop taxing using the income tax. I think they said California, one of the states goes up to 12%. In Missouri, it's 6%. Think about that. I don't know what it started at, but it's now 12% of your income. So forget that you're in the highest tax bracket federally, which would be 39%. 12% on top of that means you're at 51% before you even take a nickel out of every dollar that you get. 51%. And God forbid if your money comes from self-employment, because then you add another 15% of that. So you're at 66% before you even get a nickel. Then for every nickel you spend, every dollar you spend, they're going to take somewhere around 8 to 10% in retail tax, sales tax. And what about excise taxes? So if you're wealthy, you are going to be probably in the 60 to 70% tax bracket without even breaking a sweat if you're in the state of California or Massachusetts or these high tax states. So forcing them to look at their policies and say, you know what, we're not going to be taxing people this way because it's no longer going to be tax deductible. Because it just gives the states more leverage. They just say, well, you know what? We'll just give more through this plan. But if the federal government says, no, you'll have plenty. You'll have plenty. There's going to be a lot of money floating around here. Oh, my goodness. What do we want to look at? What track record do the left need in order to understand that Donald Trump is doing the right things? What do they need? I've already talked about the stock market. And look, I hate talking about the stock market because it isn't the barometer that it should be. Now, under Trump, it is. With Barack Obama, he was printing money. With Trump, it's the exuberance of the market. It's people saying, yeah, I want to put my money back in there. I want to get things moving. But it can go down. And it's easily manipulated. That's why I don't want to put a lot of faith into that. But what you can put faith in, is when more people come off of unemployment. When more jobs are actually created, real jobs. When we have a glut for jobs to where people can migrate and move around a bit. That's when you spur the economy. When innovation starts occurring, and instead of it going overseas where the technology can be stolen, that innovation stays here in the United States. I've said this once, if I've said it 1,000 times. Nobody thinks like an American. Think about what I just told you. It doesn't matter where you live. In Britain, they don't think like we do. See, we're a big sovereign country. Britain is made up of the Scottish people, the Irish people, and the UK, in terms of the UK and the Londoners, and they're not one united people. You got Protestants and Catholics fighting amongst themselves. America we don't have their issues, and we don't have that open borders thing. We have multiculturalization, but you come here and become American. Generally, it's not been like that. But in Britain, you didn't assimilate the way we did. Neither do you in France or Germany or anywhere else. They've lost their identities. Americans think different than any other culture. If you ask me, Kevin, what is our number one claim to fame? That's it. That's what built the American spirit. We think differently. We have a frontier mentality. And it's something that we can accomplish anything. Government can't stop us. Society can't stop us. And the left are trying to kill that. That's what they'd like to kill. But let me tell you, when you get a guy like Donald Trump who says, MAGA, make America great again, America first, and he's really pulling from just the I am somebody. You as an individual can make an impact, and I'm going to help you, and you won't need all these other crutches. Unbelievable. The market has set 80 records in less than a year with no end in sight. I've made a prediction that don't be surprised if this market ends up over 25,000 before the end of Christmas. When they start reporting retail numbers and such. 2 quarters over 3% GDP. An accomplishment Barack Obama never achieved. Even after buying this economy, he couldn't achieve that. Real record unemployment lows. Do you want to know? The real unemployment. I'm going to make a prediction. Real unemployment. I'm not talking about the fake ones where, they don't count the number of people looking for jobs and all that. Real unemployment in America is going to go down to 6%. I'm talking about everybody looking, whatever. We are going to have practical everybody at work who wants to work. The good news is everywhere. It's in all sectors. We're not talking about bean picker jobs. Even leftist Apple is bringing cash and manufacturing back to America. Committed to plants in this country. Amazon, anti-Trump hater Jeff Bezos, committed to 100,000 jobs in this country. His company is growing like crazy. He's going to become a Trump disciple at some point. And you know why? Because all this talk of he's a racist and he's a sexist and blah, blah, blah is going to go away. I'm not talking about completely, because leftists have to have something to complain about. You guys know my grandmother's saying, that chick could have a ham under each arm and still be looking for bread. You know what I'm saying? Everywhere, every sector. IBM's going to add 25,000 jobs over 4 years. Alibaba committed to 1 million jobs. If you don't know who that company is, go check them out. Chinese guy owns it. It's absolutely amazing what they can do. You can make things and have products instantaneously. It's going to spur entrepreneurism like you've never seen before. SoftBank, 50,000 new jobs, 5,000 already here. Agreed to put $50 billion into this economy. They've already brought 5 with Sprint, expanding the Sprint network. I could go on. Dow Chemical, an innovation center in the Michigan area. They've committed that they will leave their $7 billion company here and bring more. Bayer is going to leave Monsanto here with whatever number of jobs. I can't remember how many, but they're going to bring 3,000 more new jobs. We're not talking 10, 50, whatever. We're talking about major manufacturers who put their companies in a particular area. And then I want you to think about what 3,000 people does to the infrastructure of a community. 3,000 people using gasoline and going to the grocery store, dry cleaners, kids playing softball, going to the mall, going out to restaurants. I want you to think about what that does. 3,000 people making an average of, say, $100,000 a year. I don't know what it is, but for easy math. Think about that. $30 million into the economy. Just like that. Tax base expanded. Homes. Whatever number of people need homes, need vehicles, and so on and so forth. That's what Donald Trump does. And that's why we need the tax plan. And that's why Pelosi and Schumer knew, you know what? We better call a meeting and meet with this man because he very well might be successful, and we want to be a part of that.
He won't stop until he's the top-rated radio talk show host in America.
What kind of weird competitive freak are you?
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.